When some people think of solo travel, they think of being alone or lonely. When I think of solo travel, I think of the seemingly endless amount of people that I have met from around the world who I've had dinner with, I've had drinks with, I've scaled castle walls with, or in some cases traveled with for up to a month at a time. Solo travel has provided me with some of the most epic travel experiences. And in this video, I want to share with you some of the ways that I meet people when I travel solo so that you can get out there and meet your people too. What's up everyone? If you're new around here, I'm Latoya and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about travel, lifestyle, and locks. So if you're into any of those things, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. What I love about solo travel is that you have the power to create any experience you want. If you want to travel and be by yourself, maybe you're reflecting on a big change happening in your life and you want quiet to think about it, you can create that experience for yourself. But if you want to travel the world and meet people, including other travelers and locals, then you can make that happen too. Now, there are no guarantees around meeting people, of course, but I'm gonna share with you in this video the ways that work for me when I travel solo. The number one way that I have met hundreds of people over the years and formed really strong connections that I still have to this day is actually a method that I don't use anymore. I've outgrown it, but if you are young, in your 20s, or even young at heart, I highly recommend that you stay at hostels. This is the number one way to meet people, period. Hostels are designed around community and fostering social connections. So you have to put in very little effort to meet people. Many hostels offer activities, they do hostel dinners, they have happy hour at the bar or cafe with live music. In addition, the common rooms of hostels typically have pool tables, musical instruments, or other things of interest, so people gather there throughout the day and definitely at night. Striking up conversation in the common room is the age-old, tried and true way of meeting people at a hostel. And if you are shy or you have never really been a conversation starter in your life, this is a great opportunity to get out there and practice. And I always say to myself, even if you have an awkward moment, which you likely will, because they happen, you will never have to see these people again if you don't want to, so who cares? And you can just use simple conversation starters like, what did you do today? What's your name? Where are you from? How long are you traveling? Backpackers love talking about travel and their plans, so these are really easy ways to start chatting with someone. And the next thing you know, you'll be making joint plans for the next day. Now to the elephant in the room. I know some people are not comfortable with shared dorms, and I totally get it. I have stayed in dorms with 4 beds all the way up to 16 beds when I was first backpacking, especially in Southeast Asia and Cambodia. There are many dorms with a large amount of beds, and I've done that. I don't necessarily recommend it. It was a great experience just to try it out, but if you sleep in a dorm with 4 to 8 beds, it's not too bad. I mean, you will have the little annoyances like people snoring or turning on the lights late at night. Those can be annoying, and I think those are the reasons why now I'm firmly in my hotel phase. But like I said, if you are young and looking to meet people and where you lay your head is not as important as the experiences, hostels are great. Now, if you don't want to stay in a dorm, totally get it. Like I said, they do have private rooms at many hostels now, so you can definitely look at that option. It gives you the privacy of your own room, but when you step out of your room, you have your community of people ready and willing to meet and have some adventures with. So many of the most epic and spontaneous travel experiences I've had in my life have come from the people that I've met at my hostel or even at my hostel. The second way that I meet people when I travel solo is through walking tours. I go on a walking tour the day I arrive in a new city or town usually because it provides a great orientation to the place. In Europe, I often use free tours by foot, but they are not the only one. I will list some of the other tours that are pay what you think the tour is worth in the description. What I like about those tours is that the guides are really trying to provide value to you so that you compensate them accordingly. And if it's a good tour, you really should compensate them accordingly. The guides not only talk about history and show you historical sites, but they also point out the best restaurants, the best places for live music and drinks. And they also tell you places to avoid, neighborhoods that maybe are not safe or streets that are not safe. Best of all, these tours are filled with other travelers, a lot of them solo. And what I find now is that guides are getting people to introduce themselves and say where they're from. So that information becomes a really good conversation starter, especially if you find that there's someone else on the tour from your city or country. And as you can imagine, you're walking for a whole afternoon or a whole morning, you get to talking to other people on the tour, especially as you're seeing amazing historical sites or experiencing things together. And at the end of the tour, after 2 to 4 hours, we're usually looking around at each other like, anybody else hungry? Typically after these tours, I find that half of the group or so will usually go to one of the restaurants recommended by the guide. And in many cases, we've had the guides join us, and it just typically ends up being this like really cool, unexpected continuation of the tour. If you connect with someone, then you may want to get their contact so that over the next couple of days while you're in that location, you can connect with them again if that feels right to you. The third way that I meet people when I'm traveling solo is by pursuing the things that interest me. So taking a class, a workshop, or experience around something I love. So for me, that's hiking and a little bit of cooking, although I'm a terrible cook, but I love to learn about how cultures cook. So whether you love bird watching or dancing, go and pursue that interest. Find an activity around it. And not only will you expand your horizons by seeing how that's done in another part of the world, but you'll also meet people with similar interests to you. You can share what you know, and you can also be curious and ask people questions. I love Airbnb experiences for finding cool things to do in other parts of the world. And I've also used Viator to find these kinds of experiences. Another way that I meet people when I'm traveling solo is by joining certain travel websites that connect me with people or information. The biggest one, of course, is Facebook groups. There are so many groups out there where you can really kind of niche down and find exactly who you're looking for and the kind of information you're looking for. I love the expat groups, like the expat or digital nomad groups are the best because I find that these are people that really have integrated into a place. It's a lot of valuable information. And also I can connect with like individuals who I can meet when I go to that place. I'm also in certain women-only groups where I see if there are other travelers that are gonna be in a specific place on certain dates. In those groups, I feel more comfortable to share that information versus a group that's mixed and you just don't know who's in there and who could do something weird with the information that you're putting out there. Of course, I'm still cautious. I may say like, are you gonna be in Bangkok on these dates, and just see if anyone is. I've had some success with this method, so give it a try. I will list some of the groups that I'm in the description so you can go check those out. But find the groups that work best for you and what you're interested in. I've also used meetup.com to find the events that are happening around the world. I haven't used this website in a few years now, but I have used it in the past for especially language learning. When I was in Ecuador and even Colombia, I used Meetup to find locals who were willing to listen to my terrible Spanish and correct me, and also I listened and spoke with them in English, so it was kind of like these exchanges. Meetup.com is great for that kind of thing. This last one I haven't used myself, but it is something that I would consider in really specific cases. I hear more and more people are using dating apps to meet people when they're traveling solo. I do think that there is some danger in this, and I would only use Bumble's BFF option. It's an option where you can meet friends, and I would select female only. I just think there are a lot of creeps on dating apps, and so for me that's just not a very safe way to meet people solo. But that specific function of Bumble, the BFF option, I think I would try, and I may try this year, so I will report back and let you know if I have any success. This last one I haven't used myself because I haven't stayed in hostels in years, but if you are thinking about staying in a hostel, then this new Hostel World app looks super cool. It allows you to connect with travelers before you even get to the hostel, which I think is a great way to break the ice if you're a little bit shy and connect with people online, and then you can take that to in person. So when you actually meet in person, it's not like for the first time, you already kind of know each other. I think that's super cool. So if you're staying at hostels, you should definitely give this a try, and let me know in the comments if you've already tried it. I would love to know what your experience was like. Regardless of how I meet people and connect while traveling, the biggest thing that I have found over the years is it's so important to check your approachability and look at whether you initiate conversations. So what I mean by approachability is, do you look like someone who is open to conversation? Do you look friendly? I live in a big city. I'm from Toronto, so we don't really walk around smiling on the street, but I find that that is so important as an indicator to other people that you are open to conversation by just making eye contact and smiling while you're passing by another person. That does wonders for opening up your world. And also, you should initiate conversations. If you are in your hotel lobby having a drink at the bar and someone's talking about something interesting, say, oh wow, that sounds interesting, and ask a question. Or if someone's sitting by themselves at the bar, then introduce yourself. Traveling gives you these moments where you can really expand and stretch, and you should take it. So those are some of the main ways that I meet people when I'm traveling. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them below. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more travel videos. Thanks, and see you in the next one.